Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded match. We're playing against Phil on Rocky River. He's a Conk 2 player. I wasn't sure if um, this was Berto, who is a kind of a really high-level Mongol player. I met him at the the King of the Rockies LAN, so I'm not sure if that is Berto or not, but it is this guy called Phil, and he is a Mongol main as well. So it was going to be an interesting matchup. Rocky River is definitely a trade kind of a matchup, and it's definitely all about like tempo early on. And we'll kind of play it from our perspective here, just so you guys have a good idea of how like we kind of see things and react throughout. So we go middle. We drop our Falcon here just to see what he kind of does if he goes middle. I'm kind of curious. Was there extra sheep up here? There wasn't. Oh, he was running up here too. Okay. So we take a route here, and we're doing our fast stage 2. I do think it's imperative to do this, and with our spawn here with our relatively safe golds, I felt like we'd be in a good spot, and we would just react to his spearmen if they start burning down our Ubu and things like that. Also, not seeing his con early on like that is a pretty good indicator that there wasn't going to be a Dark Age spear rush. So we did spot, or we do spot his con here. He does a good job reacting, and we do late with our arrows, so no way we could have fully sniped him out, but we did see him. So we know he's probably running him back this way, or potentially on our side. And that's why we're just trying to clean up our backside here and collect what we can. We do drop a scouting falcon here, just to catch if he rotates this way. And we see his con one more time. And we see him kind of taking an angle here. So that's why we just started heading up directly. And we just kind of hoped there was no sheep over here. And there wasn't, so a little bit lucky on that, but we kind of knew we had to start going up. And if he was cutting up here and he didn't grab this sheep, that gives a good indication he's heading a little bit further north. We're just trying to beeline here. Now you can see we have a little bit different build orders here from him. He's going 9 food, 3 on goals. This is a potentially fast wheelbarrow play. But it's usually, this is kind of a delayed gold play, so I don't think it's really as efficient. You can see our age up is on the way. So we get a little bit of a jump on him, and we're aging up with 5. So we do run into each other. He's got 9 sheep, and we've got 4. But we've already dropped off a bunch of sheep here. So we're more than happy with this. And we see him heading for the corner. So we're able to kind of get a cutoff here. And we're just going to look back and around. We weren't sure if he had taken this back corner yet, but we'd seen him over here, so we had assumed he had taken this kind of river line, and that's what we just decided to go with. He does start to cut across the front here, and he was microing his Gur, so that's APM on him. He also starts tapping up with 5 on Deerstone. But you can see he's heavy on wood, and this might have been a reaction for barracks or an early pasture. It's more than likely just a flexibility play he's doing. And why he's so heavy on wood early. Again, not personally my favorite decision. So now we've got 6 sheep. So we got a lot of sheep, 7 sheep here. And he's got his first bunch of sheep here. He's at 12. And we hit age 2 before he does, significantly before he does, which is always kind of scary as Mongols, because it kind of puts you in a mirror specifically. It puts you behind on tempo. So we're gonna go check out his base. We've seen the deer stones, and we got plenty of sheep, so we're happy with our sheep numbers. And we're rallying Mangadai across. And yeah, so he's getting early wheelbarrow. And you can see our villager split's a little bit different, right? We're 856. He's 755. Is he building anything? He is using 2 villagers to build a range. So again, these are those little details about min-maxing a build that can, you know, change a game's outcome basically. So we got all our sheep. We're coming back. We're gonna finish scouting over here on this fog of war. It's very important you scout the entire map. And we spot his con out here. We're a little bit late on the reaction here, but with our con here, we're able to keep on tab. We still have our movement mover arrow, and we have our con hunters here, which are gonna start buffing. Drop a movement arrow, and now, yeah, he loses his con. So losing this vision this early like he does is actually a really big deal. It puts you in a weird spot. We have gotten our acid distillation. It's bugged right now for Mongols for whatever reason, the specialized pick, so he doesn't get to see it. But you can see in terms of eco stuff, he's got wheelbarrow, and he's getting a double broadaxe. Did he get? No, he didn't get improved wheelbarrow. But we're coming here and we're just scouting and seeing what he's got. So we got plenty of sheep here. So he's going to be under that for a while. And then we see this archery range over here. And so what we do is we come over and we sit under this on this thing. Because if he spawns Mangadai from here, it's just a really bad fight for him. He loses a Mangadai, and we won't lose anything. So it's a really inefficient resource loss for him. Now he's got his lumber preservator, double broadaxe. He's got 2 eco-ticks, and we're going for a 3rd eco-tech now, so a little bit of an advantage in terms of eco-techs as well. And he does have to pick up his archery range and reset. So these, again, little details, very small details about timing, but it's important in terms of Amir to really kind of get the tempo and maintain the tempo. So at this point I found it in a pretty content place, and we're on 20... Well, one villager lead, so his food eco was a little bit idle. And we're still rallying onto wood here. And what I found out most of the time is to stop rallying onto wood around the 9-10 mark. Dropping a blacksmith here. Still rallying onto wood. We'll probably stop rallying onto wood here shortly, but we see him on this wood line, which he's got a small wood line here. We know it's like on the edges of a wood line. And we back out here on here. And here's his first couple of Mangadai. So this is what I mean by trading with 1 Mangadai versus like 4, or in this case 2. It's just a really bad trade. So we still have a bigger mass than him, and we knew we had a bigger mass than him, but you can see now that he has double range, he's kind of catching up. But the difference is we have dropped to stable now. It's really imperative, especially in Mongol matchup, not to just go Mangadai. You really do need to mix in Horseman and Keshik, because those units are really going to carry you. Now he rushed a blacksmith, he's got his blacksmith techs, and we're still getting our first blacksmith tech. So at this point, we are a little bit of an advantage in terms of military. Eco, we're a pretty big advantage now. And he's idled his TC enough for just 1 villager. At times we're almost 2 villagers ahead, so it's cumulative. It does start to add up over time. You know, extra resources. And we're just clearing around over here. We were curious to where his army had gone. And he's just keeping it in base, which is a smart move. But he's only got 2 con hunters, and we've got 4. So this is actually an important detail in terms of not only just Mongol mirror matches, but in general versus any civ, because if they snipe you con hunters, you lose a lot of DPS potential. And especially in a Mangadai mirror, you lose those con hunters, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because yeah, all of a sudden you're getting sniped out. Well, you can't snipe them. So we're able to spot this and get a little dive. You can see that extra bit of range is huge, right? Previously, trying to get that villager kill would have been a nightmare, losing potentially a Mangadai there. So sniping a villager here is pretty big, and all of a sudden we're now 3 villagers ahead. Idle TC time, things like that. We've got our market set up, but we have not started trading. And so he's got his army over here. We were paying attention, but we weren't sure where his army was. And we're rallying a second army over here, mostly horsemen. And we're still kind of trying to figure out where his army is at, and we do spot it over here. Luckily, we'd already dropped an outpost over here, so we weren't too worried about this. And behind this, we're coming around and checking out this other wood line. We knew this wood line was running out, and he would have to transition to a wood line shortly. And we do make the transition just a little bit late, right? Because he's able to get this tower up. Now, we saw his army back here, and he has to make a decision, which he does, which is go back. But we have a decent amount of horsemen over here. So kind of forcing a garrison here is decent. But really what we're doing is baiting his main army to come back. And that's what we're looking for, is his main army. And it's on the way, but it's not here yet. And he's got a secondary army here. And you can see our army numbers are almost the same. But ecotechs, yeah, we've got 2 more ecotechs than he does, which is a pretty big deal. We also are starting to trade, and military techs. We both have the arrow techs, but we're getting our melee techs, and he's just getting his specialized picks. So again, little advantages that add up, right? And we only got 1 villager kill, but the idle time on STC has started to add up as well. So it could be a build order issue, just running out of food and forcing out as many units as he did without that horticulture upgrade. Could be part of it, right? Yeah, because he doesn't have horticulture or forestry or survival techniques. We do have forestry as well. So yeah, we're quite ahead. So now this is a mass. He's got 2 Khan hunters. He's got 4. We only got 7 Mangadai. He's got 16. But we do have a bunch of horsemen here. So what we do is we split up our army here. Let the horsemen dive. We're happy trading horsemen into a Mangadai mass like this. And the reason is we got more units coming, but it really baits him into doing a lot of damage and fighting us here. And we want this kind of a fight. Why? Because when he runs, he loses his Khan hunters. And now that he's lost his Khan hunters, sure, he can probably hit our horsemen, but our Mangadai are still shooting him. And his Mangadai aren't shooting us. So, really big fight there. Destroyed value, he's actually a little bit ahead of us. So, maybe not as favorable of a fight. But we really turned back that fight, and without any Khan hunters, he really needs to incorporate Khan hunters into his army. And that extra range from these guys is big. A lot of people don't, it's 5.25 tower range. And I mean, even against archers, they can technically just perfectly micro archer. So again, we don't commit to this. He's got 16 Mangadai. He can out DPS us if he gets in range, right? He doesn't have a Khan hunter here. Again, big mistake. We can kind of bait a fight and engage there. He's looking to go castle here. We are seeing that his gold is starting to run out. But we're happy where we're at here. We've got, whatever it is, 6 pastures. We've got our trade starting to come online, so kind of pulling ahead in eco a little bit. We know we've only got 1 villager kill, but it's more about maintaining a safe position here. He's going for stat readouts, repositioning his deer stone. We're not privy to any of this information. We are getting our Khan arrow up now, as well as superior mobility. And we're also looking to castle up here. We know he's got a big mess of Mangadai, and we got horsemen to deal with it. We move out to boar here. I think we lose the villager here. Yeah, big mistake there. Bad micro. But we do have 2 towers here. So this is kind of a big deal if he does raid us, that we have some protection on this pocket stuff. And we're just dropping scouting falcons here and there. Army advantage again on his side. But even though we've only killed 1 villager, you can see there's an eco lead growing. And this is in part because we're doing a little bit more balanced approach here. We're going to set up our market over here. He gets his step readout out, which is going to be big, right? He's going to get more gold out of this. You guys get a couple more Khan hunters. I think only having 2 Khan hunters is kind of a mistake. You can really lose that bonus really quickly, and then you're in a rough spot. But you can tell just in terms of eco, like he's got 6 pastures, 2 ranges, 3 ranges. We got 3 ranges, 3 stables, 7 pastures, outposts, market. So you know these little details of getting that eco going with all of your eco techs, keeping a constant TC production, they really do add up. So we does kind of put us in a really strong position here. Having 6 extra villagers at this point is nice. Now, okay, we see him pushing across here. We hit castle. We knew he's probably going to be coming for a timing push. He's getting better in Mangadai, getting balanced projectiles. And we're just kind of alert here. We don't want to really commit to this yet. We're getting our veteran Mangadai and veteran horseman upgraders coming through. We're going to bring our Kurultai over. We've got some trade going. It's only 4 traders. So he might see this and think, oh yeah, he's invested super heavily into trade. We're going to get a lot of damage in here. But it really isn't the case. We've done a little bit of trade boom. Now here, a little bit of a mistake, perhaps. I think we lose some villagers here. Just kind of sloppy. And we're just going to wait for our techs here. There's no sense in fighting this. But all of this army can't really stop us here. So, again, little mistake. Wow, we got lucky. We don't miss a villager there. They aggro into the Gur somehow, the Mangadai, which is kind of unfortunate, but again, for him, right? But he's killed 2 traders, which is helping to equalize some things. We were probably starting to idle our TC here a little bit, because he's able to close up that gap, but we are still trading. Behind this, I was expecting him to begin trading here shortly, and he wasn't. He's going to step read out. Okay, so villager splits, you can see we're a lot heavier on wood than he is too. Eco techs, military techs, you can see we're getting eco techs. We're just sending a Keshik up and around to see what we can see in terms of if he's on gold or something. That's what we're checking. Again, kind of a wide berth around. We don't want to get caught out by his Mangadai ball. He's got a large, massive Mangadai here. That's important we don't get caught out here. It can be pretty detrimental. Dropping a tower, mining more gold. Again, we're still mostly our gold is still mostly from mining. But we have moved up to 5 traders now, which is pretty big, especially with 74 gold return. Tower's starting to get set up here and there. Deerstone here is pretty nice. Deerstone I probably would have liked to move up a little bit. Just secure some vision easily. And what we're doing with our army over here is just posturing. We want to see him rotate onto wood, and we want to see traders. We don't see any of these things. We do see but his army is moving out over here. But we secured these west side golds, right? So we know he's only in one spot, which is this gold, because there's no trade. And this almost kind of indicates to us that this is a step read out play, right? So behind all of this, put Kurultai here in the middle so we can react to either direction. We start dropping towers here, as well as some monks. And now we kind of feel like he's going to be hitting us here soon. And if we look at it, he's actually just posturing middle. But he sees our army, and that's when he decides to push forward, I think. Okay, no, he was going to push forward, but he sees our army and he doubles back. Okay, just a half bad move. But again, we were just looking to get villager kills where we could, right? Everywhere that we can step back his eco compared to ours while we trade boom, and he's not trade booming is a plus, right? So picking these 5 villagers isn't a huge deal at this stage of the game. I mean, it's a 10th of your eco. We see monks coming in, but the key is to harass and do stuff, right? So we see this huge Mangadai boss, and we just speed arrow out of here. We get caught by this, it's definitely gonna do a lot of damage. But behind us we have another army, right? And it's mostly horsemen. And we know where he's gold mining, right? So what we do here is we commit our horsemen to a fight here, and we pull our Keshik back and commit to a fight here as well. And sure, we're sacrificing horsemen and Keshik here, but we want to save these Khan hunters, we want to save these Mangadai here. But now we've got our secondary raiding force is now hitting his stat readout. Again, and burning down these these towers with Springald upgrades is a really big deal. Him losing these villagers, it really does start to add up. And so our army here kind of can react. We're sending more troops this way. And we're just going to kind of fall back here. I don't think we take... Oh, we do take this fight, yeah, because he's just going to catch us because of the EM network. So it's better just to trade positively. And we bring our Khan back and around just to hit where we can. We do see a second TC coming out. So we're happy trading into this. Horsemen, Keshiks, sure they get trickled down and they die, but they will catch. They'll do some decent damage, and they force a lot of micro from him. And we do have to pull this other raiding force back because he's kind of cleaned this up. But again, we've gotten some villager kills here, and he's committed to a second TC. So we got kind of a forward force here, kind of just indicating to us when stuff will happen. We cleared off this board, cleaning up this deer, or this berries. We still have fish here and stuff, so that's not a half bad thing. Sending an army over to go check out the back trees and this deer. And we find this big Mangadite ball again. Again, speed arrow, and we just have to try to get out of here. We're at 2.08. Move speed, but he's got a little bit better angle here. I don't think, yeah, we need to get our stone tech going. And we're just going to rally our new troops over this way. So we're losing troops here. He's losing troops as well though. But now we got the protection here of towers basically. As well as trade has been kind of, you know, we're not super heavily invested because we don't want to lose them all because he does have a big Mangadite ball. He can split on us and do a lot of things. But relic counts, he's got his 3 relics. We still only have 1 of ours. Is there another relic over here? There's not. Where's the other relic? It's just 5 relics. Okay, so he's got a relic superiority on us. Right, he's going to start doing trade. Okay. But again, we're happy here, right? We got a small raiding force, a decent army here, and so sure we've got less Mangadite numbers than him, but we've got defender's advantage, and we got a big eco advantage too. So we've kind of been able to put him on the back foot here. And yeah, he's just gone into mass ranges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 ranges, and he's just non-stop producing, right? Mangadite, which isn't like a bad idea in some regards, but especially in a mirror, you really do need some backbone. You need horsemen, you need Keshik to really soak up damage and let the Mangadite really shine in these kind of matchups. So, you know, he's harassing, he cleans up this army here, but we're not too worried. Still got a raiding force back there. He's not going to kill this, so we're just going to rally more troops. We're getting our improved techs as well. It would be nice to see our eco techs catch up. This is one area where we've fallen behind significantly. He's getting his eco techs, and we are not getting our eco techs, which is really a big mistake actually. But he is starting to close the gap here. We do try to do a little sneaky dive here, and we're not able to get much here. Just a couple of villages here and there. But again, you can see what the meat shield of the Keshik and the horseman has been able to do. This really massive Mangadite ball that he had with really superior numbers. Sure, it wins the fight. It won the fight, you know, but we're able to regain map control, which is a big thing because we're trading right. We really want that map control. And we got plenty of production buildings now, so we can, you know, react to anything he does. And he's just, again, still committing to the Mangadite, which is, I mean, something I do. And he's dropping more ranges. And we just spot this out. Again, the towers here, we're pretty comfortable being able to hold this. We'll just bring our army over, and his eco is starting to catch up now, but we haven't really started to trade boom. We're still on 10 traders. We haven't gone into multiple. Okay, now we've just gone into multiple markets after a little bit ago. So now we're actually getting really ready to trade boom and like really cement our map control on our side. We've been pretty lenient on just flexing with whatever he does and giving ground and such. But again, this is what I mean. He has a superior Mangonite law, but with just a few horsemen here, we're able to regain map control. He has to fall back. The Mangonite are strong and they're great at the kiting. You can see destroyed value. He's got an extra 3,500 resources in destroyed value because we're chasing. But the villager kills and the map control is important. Even though we're not raiding on his side, it's it definitely adds up. He's on 3 traders now, so he's starting to set up his trade. And we're sending Keshiks over to go find out his golds. We need this gold, which should be running out soon. And we kind of missed the villager drop over here on the towers. But we do realize, I think we realize eventually. Yeah, we do realize over here. A little bit late, but we got villagers catching the gold transition, which is a pretty big deal, always. It's gonna mean dead villagers, it's gonna mean idle time. It all definitely adds up. Sure, his army's here, but our main army's over here. This is just kind of a raiding force, and sure, it kills a couple of villagers here and there, and we're happy with the vill kill here and there. And all of this idle time, his gold is kind of getting bottlenecked, and behind this we've got a raiding force kind of exerting kind of pressure here. We do move Krotai over here because we expected a raid over on this side, and now we're kind of really ramping up our trade. We feel more comfortable and kind of accelerating our trade at this point. And we do dive his eco over here because we know his military is moved, right? And now we're just kind of baiting his army to come this way, because when his army comes this way, we're still rallying up towards this Krotai, but we're going to bring this units that we have over here on another control group. So again, big massive Mangonite, a little bit of a military on edge on us, but we have a bit of an eco edge, and it's usually better to just have a bit of an eco edge on these kind of situations. And yeah, we're just playing kind of cat and mouse here, because we can't fight his forces directly, but we've got towers, we got our trade line going, we've killed a bunch of villagers, gotten a lot of idle time. So that should give us a bit of an edge. We're finally getting the improved superior mobility, which is a pretty big deal. And we spot his army here, and again our army is remassing here, so we can't truly commit to this fight. Again, no con hunters here, which is a really big mistake. It's a big oversight not to include con hunters into your army. It really changes the amount of DPS you can do. We've only got 3 here, but it's good to always have with you. I'd say run 5. It really does change things. But now that his army is super committed, he's not splitting his army, all of a sudden we can hit his goal, right? He's got a decision to make, and it's yeah, it's fight there. So all of his Mangonite have to fall back. We lose 1 production building. Again, not a big deal. Our army can kind of chase and commit here. And we're just going to burn down Springle Towers. Stone is one of the more precious commodities for the Mongols. And we can almost look to imp up at this point, because we got 23 traders sitting pretty with our eco here. And we burn down his towers here. We're idling his gold production. We still got plenty of gold though. He does a pretty good job of banking it and not committing to it. And now his army is way out of position, right? And what do? We could stay here and sacrifice this, but this army is mostly horsemen, right? So he's going to have a bit of a time catching up to us. And so we're just going to run. And while we're doing that, we can just really commit to killing villagers and traders over here. And he's got to react. So when his army does react, we just kind of commit our horsemen to stay in this corner and burn. And yeah, his Mangonite have to double back and deal with him. And that's a lot of Mangonite, right? He's got to commit to that. And because he commits to that, he loses a lot of villagers here. And at this point, I would say the game is pretty much over. Even though he's got a better military count, his eco losses are really significant at this point, and we can just kind of remass an army at this point whenever we want, right? But we're just gonna go to imp instead. Losing these Springle towers, I mean 3 4 5 towers, it adds up because that's stone that's really hard to accumulate until you're an imp. It's really tedious to accumulate. And we're sending another raiding force over here. And we're tapping up with White Stupa with 32 of our food villagers here. Also, you can see the difference of our base here. We have a bunch of towers really ready to defend and make our base defendable. We do have a couple Mangadai just sitting on this trade line. And so even if he does get the trade in, which he doesn't, but if he does, it's not a big deal because it is going to die. We focus on the Springle Tower here. That's number 1, and then we just keep burning here. And now his army is really spread thin because he's trying to chase us with one big ball. So kind of a bad micro decisions by him. But now we're aged up. We're gonna get our Sipahi bow limbs, we're gonna get our biology, and a little bit suffering on the food resource because we aged up with so many food villagers, but we know we're just gonna be able to reset behind this. And we do see a third town center going down. So his army's here, he's got Yamura, we just double back. He drops in the attack speed arrow, which I think is probably a waste in this moment, but maybe I'm wrong. It loses a lot. I mean, he's lost a lot of eco at this point, right? And behind this, his trade is never going to get online. I should decap this sacred site already, which is a little bit of a mistake. But we have a decent amount of infrastructure, but we need to start dropping a lot more. And we're just focusing on getting our tech. Stone Commerce is a really important tech to focus once you hit Imp as well. And now he's kind of rushing Imp, right? He stopped making army. He had a big army lead. Right? Because we've just been sending units. I mean, there's a huge difference of wasted units here. This is about 9,000 wasted units. But oh, I didn't even see this. I could have done something about this White Stupa drop. But we're just focusing on villagers here, which is fine. I mean, he's on triple TC now, so he's going to be able to get a bunch of vills up fairly quickly. And he decides to go for the counter raid here, which is okay. Most of our army isn't in our base, and if we look at our trade, 37 traders, so we had a full-blown trade line at this point. I'm really bad about my traders just dying. I really need to just garrison. We were getting our cannon placement, so if he attacks like 15 seconds later, he never even touches this line very easily because of cannon emplacements. I think we do get one cannon emplacement out. I think it gets one shot off, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it gets one shot off, which is a huge waste of stone. But behind this, we're kind of harassing things. We burnt his tower, burnt this, and he's had to split his army now, right? He reaches Imp, but he's got no gold. He's got only 70 villagers, some of which are probably traders still. And we're losing a lot of traders. We've lost 12, 13 traders, which we could have easily garrisoned. And we're just kind of massing an army. And you can see with our production here that we're just content to mass army here. We're not really stressed about the situation here. I'm sure he's getting his elite upgrades and things like that, but he doesn't have any cav involved. So these elite Keshik and these elite horsemen are going to do a lot of damage. And soak up a lot of damage. And again, that's just immediate map control. You have to have some sort of meat behind your accompanying your Mangadai to really sustain some sort of map control. It's just a couple of Keshiks just diving into your trouble TCs and Springle towers here. Like, it's impressive what they're able to do. So we chase here what we can, but we can't really truly commit to chasing this because we will eventually. I mean, it's a big mass still, right? It's like 40 or so. So we just send little raids. We're still finding this gold here. So, I mean, all of his gold is right here, so it makes sense that he's over here. But you can see this lone Keshik is just doing absolute work here. I mean, he probably by himself killed like 3 villagers there. under a Springhold, under a TC. So yeah, and now all the eco damage he did, it still has an effect for sure. He's killed a bunch, but we've killed a lot more. And we have dropped a couple more markets, I believe. Where? Oh, we dropped a couple up here. So yeah, when we're dropping these markets, it's because we're trying to reboom our trade. So we have some idle traders here. That's kind of shitty, but again, his trade will never get online now. He's got to resecure over here, this market, which he hasn't done yet. And we're just massing a big army here. Again, and he's just focusing on Mangadai, which is something, I mean, I don't think I've ever just done purely Mangadai. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But also in our case, going Siege here doesn't make a lot of sense for us either. But I mean, Horseman and Keshik both really complement. And him not having any Khans Hunters really reduces the DPS of these Mangadai. And he is getting his incendiary arrows, and we're getting ours as well. So that you can tell that he does a really good job in getting his eco techs and focusing on his military techs and things like that. That's something we definitely kind of have a little bit of oversight, and we don't get our tier 2 techs for eco, which is a pretty big deal considering, yeah, he's got pretty much all of his G2 eco techs. But what we are going to do is kind of press the advantage now. We know we've done a lot of eco damage. We know he's got triple TC, so he's recovering for sure. But we know all of his gold is right here. So you focus down the cannon towers, and with this amount of cav, you can see how quickly these towers just get obliterated, and how quickly these villagers get obliterated. And with the Kurultai here, you can really hold a line. And we're just scouting around this backside with some other raids looking for things here. And if you look at this mass, I mean, we only got 30 Mangadai, but we got Khan Hunters, so our Mangadai are hitting his without getting any damage in return. Our incendiary arrows aren't up yet, which is unfortunate. But they're about to come online. A couple seconds away. And sure, he's killed a bunch of our Keshiks and our Horsemen, but at this point, it's really not a big deal for us to lose those units. It's just pop space for us at this point. And trading efficiently with the Mangadai is a bigger deal. And we can just dive under his TCs, idle all of these villagers, and get a bunch of damage in. Now at this point, gold is going to be his issue, right? So he's trying to reset up this stat readout. We do spot the stat readout moving. It's imperative that you kill the stat readout as it moves. It has no arrow damage or arrow armor while it's up, while it's moving around. So you can see how much more damage we do with our Mangadai here. Losing that is huge, right? That's idle time and repairing it. That's a huge hit to his eco. All these markets, we see it, we're not too worried about it. This whole time we were flooding units into the Kurultai now, but we were channeling straight into his base earlier. But yeah, game's pretty much over at this point. 29 traders. I guess we didn't have room for more eco. We had a lot of villagers. I had a lot of food villagers, so that's where our gold is kind of suffering too. And we're a little bit heavy on villager count, that's probably what it is. Yeah, 29, 95 villagers, 29 traders. Yeah, a couple less villagers would be nice. You definitely need like 40 or so traders to really get a good amount of value from it. You can see he's taken a lot, he's done a lot of damage, you know, and we've just let a lot of horsemen just die. But again, it's all about the map control and positioning. If you can dive and kill stuff with your horsemen, it doesn't really matter if they die. If you kill a bunch of villagers and he takes him, dropping a second and third TC to rescale. So pretty good fight with him. Overall, definitely different approaches to how to play the matchup. And you can guys see on the military We killed 308. We lost 352. He killed 308. We raised 23, which is a big deal. The difference in raised buildings, that's a lot of income actually. And we technically had a larger army. But yeah, I mean, this, yeah, if you lose 50 more horsemen, but you kill 50 more villagers, it's definitely worth it, I would say. So, and you can see food wise, just how much, what, how this, the eco and the veil kills really translates there. So it's definitely about tempo, definitely about aggression, and reading the play right, and definitely not getting stuck into overcommitting into trade or anything too early. So if we had committed into trade early, we didn't have the mass to defend it. So it's really important to catch um, their army and match it properly. And at the end there, you can see our food per minute was huge difference. Gold, stone, wood. I mean everything. We were pretty much pretty far ahead. So game to opponent, and yeah, it's just a different kind of way to play the Mongol mirror. Hope you guys like the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.